Infrastructure is fundamental to China's reappearance in worldwide improvement since the later part of the 1990s. Around that time, the Chinese government started supporting abroad projects at a stunning speed. Today, physical infrastructure such as roads, highways, railroads, bridges, ports, dams, power plants, factories, mines, pipelines, stadiums, government buildings, and event ventures visually embody China's massive, complicated role as a provider of the developmental capital. The US and other liberal governments are worried about China's developing monetary power, as well as agricultural nations that the Chinese has funded. Advocates value speed and efficiency and abundance of regulatory formation. Fuck. Advocates value speed, effectiveness, and the apps. What does that even say? Advocates value the speed, effectiveness, and absence of regulatory formality with which China funds and constructs advanced hardware. Critics assert that China is a strategic and opaque lender intent on obtaining natural resources and policy connections, while reducing recipient nations' prosperity, increasing their debt load, and reducing democracy. In the face of COVID-19 flare-ups and increasing downward pressure on the economy, Chinese leadership is looking at infrastructure investment to bolster growth while realizing the country's modernization goals. The country's renewed calls for infrastructure investment were reiterated at recent high-profile meetings chaired by the Chinese President Xi Jinping, also General Secretary of the Communist Party of China's Central Committee and Chairman of Central Military Commission. During the meeting, Central Committee for Financial and Economic Affairs on April 26, Xi, also head of the committee, urged out all efforts to strengthen Xi, also head of the committee, urged all efforts to strengthen infrastructure construction in the country's recent endeavor. Xi, also head of the committee, urged out all effort to strengthen infrastructure construction in the country's endeavor towards a modern infrastructure system. The Ministry of Transport, for instance, planned to advance infrastructure investment with a monetary perspective approach. Meanwhile, the National Development and Reform Commission urged Meanwhile, the National Defense and Reform Commission urged to expand infrastructure investment in the fields of industrial upgrades, urban and rural construction, and national security. Infrastructure serves as a pillar of economic and social development. Under Xi's leadership, China's made great advances in infrastructure construction, ranging from water conservatory and transportation projects to information infrastructure, with the overall level improving in leaps and bounds. Concerned about the people's well-being in border areas, Xi argued to advance the construction of the Xiwan, the Shizan, the Xiwan, the Tibet Railway project with high quality. In an instruction made ahead of construction, who wrote this? In a statement made ahead of construction of the Yiyan Nation, the Yan section of the railway in November 2020, noting that the FAST is a major national scientific and technological infrastructure. Xi stressed the importance of science and technology in China's pursuit of building a modern socialist country. In addition to leveling infrastructure of a superb economic growth in short term, Xi stressed the importance of science and technology in China's pursuit of becoming a modern socialist country. In addition to leveling infrastructure investments to build a super economic growth in short term, China has also been striving to build technological and digital infrastructure and part of its long-term goal to optimize overall economic layout. As a part infrastructure as part of the digital information infrastructure, the number of 5G base stations in the country has increased 81,000 during the first quarter of the year, bringing the total over to 1.5 million. And the country's latest step to ride the digitalization wave amid a surge of demand and computing capacity, China China, no, China initialized, China initial, China, 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 China initialized works earlier this year on a measure. Oh my god! China initialized works earlier this year on a mega project to establish 8 national computing hubs and 10 national data center clusters to bid an improvement overall to computing power and resource efficiency. Infrastructure improvement stays a main concern for China's administration, which has perceived a cutting-edge economy that runs on solid streets, rails, power, and broadcast communication. From the late 1990s to 2005, power and telecommunication upgrades have benefited 100 million Chinese citizens. Somewhere in the range of 2001 to 2004, interest in provisional streets developed an enormous 51% every year. In recent years, public authority has utilized significant foundation spending to increase support against hailing monetary development. Beijing has recently drawn up plans that are just as ambitious. Its goal is to bring the whole country's metropolitan framework to the degree of foundation and a center per pay, while utilizing progressively productive vehicle strategies to integrate the country. This dynamic industry is depicted in detail in the following section. Described as a project of the century, the New Silk Road, also called the One Belt, One Road, or Belt, what name is that? Who made that? Was mentioned for the first time by the Chinese president Xi Jinping during a conference in Kazakhstan in 2013. The slogan, "All united along the New Silk Road with our friends from all over the world," reflects China's desire to boost mutual understanding, mutual respect, and mutual trust, and promote peace and development. Including in the Chinese Communist Party in 2017, the project's biggest objective was to open up regions of West China forgotten by the economic reforms of the last 20 years. Given that China is now in overcapacity of production for steel and aluminum, it is crucial for them to export all over the world their reserves. China has chosen Chongqing as the starting point of the terrestrial road, whereas the maritime road will constitute a chain of seaports stretching from South China to Africa. The BRI also includes oil refineries, industrial parks, power plants, mines, fiber optic networks. And fiber. The BRI also includes oil refineries, industrial parks, power plants, mines, and fiber optic networks, all designed to make it easier for the world to trade with China. Between 2014 and 2018, China has already invested $410 billion into the project to demonstrate its expertise in construction and economic infrastructure such as highway, railway, metro lines, and seaports, and in energy, real estate, and transportation sectors. I need some water! China aims to have 30% of new construction projects as energy efficient by 2020. According to a joint report from the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Housing and Urban Rural Development, this marks the country's first official goal to promote green buildings, aligning with previous initiatives. The government plans to implement various measures such as increasing policy incentives, improving industrial standards, fostering technological innovation to achieve this objective. Additionally, the report aims to align China's building energy consumption ratio with that of developed nations by 2020. Deputy Minister Zhang Xiaocheng anticipates a thriving green market, levying trillions of yuan, and expects the property sector, responsible for half of the nation's steel and 60% of the concrete construction, to support the downstream businesses. The construction sector is projected to contribute over 30% of social energy consumption by 2020, making energy-efficient buildings crucial. A preliminary study suggests that construction energy-efficient buildings during 2011 to 2015 could save energy equivalent of 45 million tons of standard coal, with ample room for development. The report outlines 3-level subsidy system based off 2006 assessments standard to To incentivize the construction of energy-efficient buildings, the first and second levels qualify for subsidies of 80 won and 45 won per square meter, respectively. Additionally, the report aims to apply green construction standards to government-funded welfare projects and low-income housing by 2014.